You being a master figured out that this is what you want to do and you managed to achieve that.
Yes, you know where Mount Everest is, but let's get to base camp first. The one thing that I have always realized that whenever there is a crisis, there is an opportunity.
We want to hear from you how you started as a captain and then how you transitioned to what you are now.
So I decided to quit sailing.
How does a company decide whether they want to go with Panama or Bermuda or Marshall Island?
Like India is a national registry.
So basically, if any ship wants to register in India,
Has to
they
be
cannot do that.
No, they can. Without naming, there's a famous law firm whose proprietor had a yacht which had been debated for incomplete. They want to go
Lawyers
down.
confronting you
Yeah,
for no reason. Just like India.
I mean, I have a lot of lawyer friends, but I prefer them on the bar and not in the real bar.
What are the biggest challenges the global shipping industry is facing in 2024 and how are the companies adapting to those challenges?
I think the biggest challenge that I see right now in 2024 is
Future of risk is digital.
The Dali incident.
I have my views. I have a lot of views on it, and I don't want to talk about what most people are talking about.
My job is also very risky every time.
Yes.
Every move is risky.
As soon as you overcome that change and overcome that discomfort, you're all right. You're in a new comfort zone.
Hello, guys. Welcome to Port to Port. In this episode, we're diving deep into the fascinating world of shipping and global trade. Here's what you'll learn by tuning in. First, meet Captain Zarir Irani and Captain Shubpreet, two maritime experts with incredible stories and insights. They'll share how they've navigated their careers from sea to shore and why giving back to the seafaring community is so important. You'll also learn about the different flags of convenience and how they impact global trade. Ever wondered how companies choose the right flag for their ships? We've got you covered. And that's not all. Hear about leveraging crises as opportunities and why integrity and professionalism are critical in the maritime industry. You'll leave this episode inspired by how these experts tackle challenges head on. So, stay with us as we set sail into part one of this exciting journey.
Guys, welcome to the Port to Port talk show, your gateway to the shipping world, maritime sector and the global trade. I'm Captain Rajat, a seasoned marine pilot. Each week I sit down with the top trade experts, maritime industry experts and the navigators to discuss the trends and the challenges the shipping world is facing and how it is shaping the global trade. The Port to Port talk show takes you into the deep dive of the shipping world where the global trade is moving. Whether you are a maritime professional or you're just curious to know the forces behind global trade, we've got you covered. So today, guys, we have two guests with us, very important people in the shipping world, Captain Zarir and Captain Shubpreet. So I would like them to introduce themselves to you. I know what they are, but I would request them to introduce themselves to you.
Thank you, Rajat, for having us. My name is Zarir Irani. I've been in Dubai 20 years. I've been a marine surveyor for all my life. Before becoming one, I was out at sea. I had most of my sea career with P&O and got my command with a company which originally was called Constellation Ship Management. As a result, the entrepreneurial journey that I took is also called Constellation. All I would say is about myself, if anybody wants to remember me, is somebody who has made a considerable effort of giving knowledge, help, and time back to the industry in some proportion than what I have received myself. I consider myself a lucky entrepreneur. I like to work hard and party harder. For those who know, would recognize what I'm saying, but it's all about knowing how much is enough and giving back whatever and whenever we can. And that's what I would like to be remembered as. Thank you for having me on your show today.
Thank you, Captain Zarir. Captain Shubpreet, yourself, please.
Okay, thanks, Rajat. I'm here basically because I met Zareer this morning and he invited me to this podcast saying it was a very interesting concept. So thanks for having me here, both of you. I am a master mariner. I'm a sailor at heart. I started this journey in 1989 with P&O as a cadet. And I don't think I have ever moved away from that roots. I have been and done various roles in the shipping industry, starting as a cadet to master with P&O. After that, I moved the journey into the offshore side of the industry, which is oil and gas related, starting off on very small anchor handling tugs and ending up as a master on a drill ship. Then the journey took me into new building projects, something that happened by chance. And I got into project management for new building vessels.
Were you sailing when you got this opportunity as a master?
Was I sailing? Basically, P&O shut down their doors. They changed track. This is what happens with companies. They sell, they merge, and out of that, what you do with that, with your career, is up to you. So my journey from shipping into offshore was a result of a merger or a sellout of P&O bulk. I came into offshore. I kind of looked at things from a very wider angle. I was on a tug and I looked at a drill ship and I said, okay, this is where I want to go. And that's what I did. After that, somebody just...
How did you go? Sorry to interrupt, because this is very interesting fact that you, being a master,
Right.
figured out that this is what you want to do and you managed to achieve that.
Yes, I think it's small steps at a time, very small goals. Set yourself very achievable targets, right? Where Mount Everest is, but let's get to base camp first.
Right.
And I think that's kind of been the journey for me. Again, there was, when the drill ships, they were coming into like 2006-07, there were a lot of projects about reactivating drill ships. I was the guy that had drilling experience, that had offshore experience. Somebody just wanted to take out of that experience what they could for their project. So they gave me a job or a chance as a marine manager on a new building and a refurbishment project.
Very interesting.
And then from there on, I knew about offshore. I worked for SSY as a ship broker. They wanted a person who had offshore knowledge. They were starting an offshore desk in Singapore. I headed that desk and I built that business up from scratch. And then I moved into ship management with OSM because OSM was wanting to leverage with somebody that knew offshore. And this was about 2014 when the oil and gas industry was going down. Oil prices were reducing. There was a crisis. So I used that crisis to transition into ship management. I came into ship management being a commercial business development guy. I bought a lot of ships in for the OSM business in Singapore, and I started heading the office for OSM there. OSM merged with another company. I moved on to Williamson, helped them do a project. And then post-COVID, I got an opportunity to now head V-Ships UK cluster, which has got offices in Glasgow, Boston, Rio, and France in Nantes. So I head a cluster of about 120 plus vessels.
Wow.
My journey has been very varied, from being a cadet on a ship to becoming a master to going on into, ship broking, new building projects, into ship management. And the one thing that I have always realized that whenever there is a crisis, there is an opportunity. How you use it, what you do with it is up to you.
True. Very interesting. Captain, I still didn't get the answer to the question. You were sailing as a captain.
Yes.
Were you sailing on the oil drilling ships?
No,
or
I was, I'm a dry bulk guy,
dry bulk?
dry bulk and containers.
Okay.
So there is a bit of obos that I did, but by far I'm a dry bulk and a dry side of business.
So how come you joined the dredging company when you were sailing as a master?
Okay, so that's a very interesting story. When P&O shut down, the opportunities I had at that time, I was a senior officer with P&O. We had 4 on 2 off rota. The new company suddenly said, okay, this is going to be like 6 to 7 month contracts. I was building a house in Chandigarh.
Okay.
And my wife, actually, the boss in the house, turned around and said, I can manage 4 months. I can't manage 6 without you.
Of course.
So back in those days, there's a Siemens club in Bombay. It still is there. There used to be a notice board on the right-hand side of the door. And I started looking for jobs there. And it said, offshore Indian master with Indian license required for offshore tugs, and it said 90 days on, and I think it was 45 off. And I just headed to an office. There was a guy who saw I had an unlimited master's license,
Okay.
and he just said, "Okay, you stay here." And I was sent on a ship which was 1976 built
My
tug,
God.
out
Tug,
in
tug.
a tug, and I was coming from like a close to a 200,000 deadweight
Of course.
vessel, and this was a tug in Jebel Ali. It was being
Oh, Dubai again.
in Jebel Ali, being flagged to Indian flag, so they needed an Indian national as a master. So to cut a long story short, there was a opportunity. I took it, and it kind of changed my life. I went into DP, I went into offshore, So do that one thing at a time. It's just one step, one step, one step. And the only thing that I would say, and I think Zarir is a testament to that as well, is that, when you are on a path, believe in yourself and don't let it go.
Interesting.
Right? Because it's like train lines, you will change track. You get onto that train line, and then you should not look back and say, okay,
You did something.
I changed my track here, and if I would have gone on that, I would have reached there. Right? And I think, Zarir, you could probably add to that as well, right?
Yeah, look, you got to make the most of what you have and where you land up.
So, Captain Zarir, sorry to interrupt. We want to hear from you how you started as a captain and then how you transitioned to what you are now.
Yeah, look, like Shubpreet, I have been a P&O product as well. We've changed guards on a few ships. We knew of each other. He was more blue blood than I was as a P&O cadet. I joined them as a third mate, finished off as a chief mate. He started as a cadet and finished off as a captain on those ships. But I was a bit in a hurry, and thanks to one pilot, Dara, in Bombay, he kept asking me, "How's your career progressing?" He was a dad to a friend of mine, Jasmine, in Dadar Parsi colony in Bombay, and he kept asking, "Are you going to get your command before or after 30?" And kind of that set a goal post, and hence when I got my chief mates on P&O ships, where the top 4 were Brits most of the time, I realized I had already stretched myself, and waiting till I get command was a bit too far-fetched. So I left and got command in my old company, which was then called 5 Star from Constellation. And the way I came ashore was basically me, much like what Shubpreet said, giving a promise to the lady of the house, saying I'd be there for the son. He was there 3 years sailing with me, right from he was 14 months. But it was time for him to go to kindergarten, and I said, look, I'm going to be the dad who comes home every day for him and not just send money. Yeah. And so I decided to quit sailing with 2 years in command when I was just gaining my confidence as a captain. And it was Darian's first year in kindergarten, and I was here jobless, made up my mind not to go back to sea.
Oh, so you didn't have a job and
no,
you
just come back on my shore leave. Gave my wife Farzeen a promise on board before she signed off a couple of weeks before I did, saying that this is going to be my last sailing contract, and didn't know where it was going to be. Mm-hmm. And like Shubpreet found his job on the doors of the Seafarers Club. I found I found a job with a referral through a guy called Captain Behram Surti, whom I hold in very high esteem. He got to know about me looking around for a job, and he wagged his tongue to Dara Antier in Sharjah when he was running a small surveying company, a 4-man surveying company. And he says, here's a young Parsi master who's looking for a job, and would you like to recruit him? And I get a call from Dara saying, do you want to join? And I found about him being a nobleman, which he still is, and proud about what we are doing. Came here. Again, steps, see what you can see. That's what your car lights and your bike lights show you, just that much. Make sure that road is safe and reachable, and then you get on with the the rest of it. But make the most of the opportunity, because one thing is, once you get on a path, you have to make the most of it. Like I tell our staff that, look, we are going to be one of our, out of the industry, going to be the most ethical, most hardworking surveyors out there. We don't want to look back and say we could have been this, that, or the other, but whatever we have in hand, we do the best of it, and our team supports that vision, and we're all right. That's how it It was an accident. It was a referral. As a result, and the industry knows this, anybody who comes or I get a call, provided it's verified, I always support them to put them on to somebody I know with my referral attached to it, so that they get on, because that's how I got my opportunity, and I want to give back in the same way.
Okay, Captain, very interesting. And I see you on your LinkedIn profile, there are a lot of things about you. Like you're a maritime entrepreneur, deputy registrar of Antigua and Barbuda Maritime Flag Administration. Captain, one question. When you talk about the flag administration, FOC basically, flag of convenience, right? How does a company decide whether they want to go with Panama or Bermuda or, Marshall Island? So what do you think? Because this is something new for me. I don't know how the companies decide.
Yeah, look, Shubpreet runs an organization which has 200, 100, 1,200, you said?
122 ships in that cluster, but about 500 total.
500 vessels. So he's closer to the ship owners than I am. But I'll tell you the few that I've been able to convince as Antigua and Barbuda registrar. Let me tell you, first of all, it has to be a whitelisted flag. Only then this comment of mine will hold good, because otherwise there is a lot of, we call them in our world Mickey Mouse flags, who offer the same service.
Do you want to name some of them?
No, I don't. I'll be very diplomatic on that front. But whitelisted flags, this one being from 1986 onwards, a category IMO flag, and very proud to hold this position of deputy second deputy registrar ever, after the one in Germany, and Martin Leetzmann. I was nominated as the deputy registrar, not being an Antiguan, not being on the island, but yet having the trust of being a deputy registrar, whereby the certificate registry bears my name. All the certificates that I issued on behalf of the flag bear my name and my. So it is a good privilege to have. It is like one of those dreams a master mariner has, because when you hold a certificate registry, you treasure it more than your passport probably on board ships.
Very true.
But to have your name out there and be able to register ships, having a free hand to do so, is itself in a bucket list item tick marked. But saying that, it comes with a certain amount of responsibility, and what you ask the differentiator is down to the basic differentiator with most service industries have, which is good professional conduct, straightforward talking, straight, truthful appearance, because a lot of times you get pushed around asking for dispensations, extensions, etc., and it's very easy to say no and not give an explanation. But as long as you're reasonable, you give out a decent explanation, yet try your level best. If it can be done, it should be done. Quick, prompt service. I can tell you proudly that the first 3 ships we registered in UAE, when I was still on my letter of intent, we got the confirmation the morning of Diwali. The registration fees were not yet paid for those 3 ships. And by evening, we had the certificates and the mandatory certificates, what they say. At 11 o'clock it was, because it so happened that the registrar from St. John's, Maxine James, she was here in town. And I told Maxine, I said, I have received the 3 confirmations. Money is not yet initiated. I stand guarantee as Constellation Marine, if the money doesn't come to your bank accounts, I will take it up. But today is Diwali, is the Lakshmi Puja day.
Correct. Money should come.
No, I said, I want this to be done today.
True.
And I was kindly invited to the person who referred us the work to his house for the evening. And I had 11 o'clock door knock. with Mohan. Thanks to Maxine, she stayed awake till 10:30 in the night that day and signed off all the certificates herself and delivered those 3 ships certificates
Same day.
same day. And that was my tick in the box of
That was
saying
Happy
that this
Diwali.
is Happy Diwali. And also it was a statement, and that client is still ours. And this is what the differentiator. To answer your question, what makes a difference? Down to service, down to
Down to
professional
service.
conduct, down to honesty, and down to explanations. That what's the difference between A, B, or C flag. And once the market already knows your reputation of being somebody who's gotten up at 2 o'clock and run for a pollution claim or a fire on board, and you have a team on top of it, this just is a fallback on that promise.
Captain Shubpreet, what's your point of view?
I think I agree with Zarir because we deal with a number of flags. We have currently DOCs, 95 DOCs within the company, right? And I think within the Glasgow cluster itself, we would have about 20 different flags. And so from I can speak of it like, he's speaking of it as being a flag. I can speak of it as the user of that service, right? From the ship owners, from a ship manager's or an operator's side. And there are certain flags who are A-listed, but they can become difficult. There are certain flags which are A-listed and are government operated or run, and they don't have that service mindset, right? So I think being a flag of convenience, you are in a very competitive industry.
Okay.
And how you deal with your customers, do you realize there? Because a flag has a lot of power and it has a lot of clout. And there are certain flags which are big, they can afford to do certain things, but not every flag can. Right? So it comes down to those personal connections, to those service-minded attitudes that Zarir is talking about. That's what makes a difference. For a choice, you may do it once, you may not do it again. But to get a repeat business, I think that those are the important things.
So basically what you're saying is, let's say if you have 10 ships,
Yes.
as a new ship owner, you decide, okay, I want to go with, let's say, Antigua and Barbuda. You have that experience, okay, 1-2 ships, everything is good. Third ship is also good, and then you continue with that.
Absolutely.
Imagine if there's another flag, you have 3 ships of the same flag and some problem arises, and you see non-cooperation with the flag of convenience, then you start thinking of, okay, let's change the flag. Something like that.
Absolutely, yes.
That's how it happens. But
That
just to draw a little differentiation here, you mentioned flag of convenience twice. Now, there's a difference between a flag of convenience, a national flag,
Okay.
which India is, UK flag is, and there is an open registry, which falls in between the flag of convenience and the national flag. Like India is a national flag. Ours, as Antigua and Barbuda, is a open registry, which is still a national flag, but it has the aspects of a flag of convenience. In other words, it is a national flag, it belongs to a nation, but it is open to the conveniences that a flag of convenience offers. A flag of convenience, for the title of it, is obviously a flag of convenience. Like a few flags there are, they're very convenient.
Very convenient.
So ours is, as Antigua and Barbuda, is an open registry. So there's a bit of a differentiation. I think a lot of people don't
So
get it.
basically, there are like 2 kind of flags, as you're saying. That
3.
Three?
3, yeah, 3. Flag of convenience, open registry, and national registry.
National registry.
Like India is a national registry.
So basically, if any ship wants to register in India,
Has to
they
be
cannot do that.
No, they can. They have to have an office of the shareholders, and majority of the ship owning 51%, is it? And it has to be Indian.
And like I said, I got that opportunity because the company that I was working for or started working for at that time, they were setting up an office in India with Indian flag vessels because that was the tender requirement for working in the oil and gas sector in India.
Correct.
Right? So when you have national flags, you would do it because it makes business sense. You may have a certain requirement. You have a ferry which is plying between, a couple of islands within, say, Indonesia. You can't have a foreign or a flag of convenience out there. So the terms for national flag are dictated by other business requirements.
Interesting. So I also see, Captain Zarir, you also ambassador to Baltic Expert Witness Association. So is it like a community or?
Yes. First of all, associating with the Baltic Exchange in itself is a matter of pride. I literally signed up because I've appeared in a couple of expert witness, a couple of cases as an expert witness. So I thought it was an interesting work. The word expert speaks for itself. But then there came an opportunity where there was a council discussion and they had discussed about having ambassadors in Singapore, South Africa, in the Middle East. So they kind of picked my name in the Middle East and approached me to say, would you like to be the ambassador of the Baltic Exchange Expert Witness Association? I said, I love the word ambassador, but I don't know whether I will be able to fulfill the demands that it dictates. And basically, being an ambassador is exactly what you just did, to spark a conversation about the Expert Witness Association. And like every other association, which is for chartered shipbrokers or for the nautical community, to be honest, it is a group of expert witness who have been given the umbrella of the Baltic Exchange and the credibility that goes with the name. And it's a matter of pride to be representing the Baltic Exchange Association as the ambassador. The idea is to basically spread the word, to maintain the professional integrity, and to uphold the ethos of an independent expert, which I
What
take pride in.
exactly are they doing, Baltic Expert? Is it a group or is it a?
Yeah, it is a membership organization. It's a subscription-based organization, and it's not for every man and his dog to get in. You have to be an expert in your subject.
Okay.
And it is subject to the council approval. It is debated. Whether you say you're an expert is what the industry thinks you're an expert, or the council members who are experts in their own view. And of course, an expert witness, as you know, is somebody who actually is called upon by the courts to,
by the
to
courts.
support. Yes.
In terms of any cases
Arbitration.
related to shipping and
Yes.
marine accidents.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. And to basically facilitate independently what their expert opinion is to kind of resolve the matter. Most important aspect of this is being independent, fiercely independent. So it is very important to be honest about it. There are times when you are called in and in a particular matter, it may go against the client who is nominating you, or the BNI club who is nominating you. First of all, your biggest professional pride, or at least ours, is being independent.
True.
So it doesn't matter who pays us. It is the subject matter that dictates.
But are they
what-
paying you to show to the court?
Of course they do. Yeah, of course. That is my job, mate. Not everything that I do is pro bono, by the way.
Okay. Any cases that you remember which are interesting, like you?
Oh yeah, without naming,
Yeah.
there's a famous law firm whose proprietor had a yacht which had been debated for incomplete work done, and it was an arbitration here in DIFC, taken into court, and I was actually an expert with a battery of lawyers. Of course, being a law firm owner, he had his best men on the job for representing his yacht, and the poor repair yard was up against, and I was an independent expert witness. And I remember the very famous question asked to me is, where is your real CV, Captain Irani? The guy asking me this question was somebody I knew very well. I'd met him at several networking events. I said, so-and-so, I said, you know where my real CV is. It's up on the internet. It's on my LinkedIn profile. He said, that's not the one you submitted to this tribunal. I said, it's not, because this case is about yachts, and I've submitted all my experience about yachts and repairs and valuations and modifications that I've attended, and that's relevant to the subject matter, and that's why it is there. But also, you have your real CV somewhere else. I said, yeah, it's not hidden. It's up on the internet. You can look at it right now if you want. That's my whole experience. But pertaining to the case was, so here's what experts go through. They go through a lot of descaling.
Questions, correct.
Descaling, yeah. There are a lot of layers that one puts up, and
Correct.
they always are seen, come down to the core of who you are, and if you stand good to those cross questions, they come out. So that was one of the things which comes in. But if you ask me, it's not one of my favorite work that I do. Not one. It's very, very honoring, and it's.
I mean,
very,
every time you have to go to the court and you're standing in that.
Yeah, but it's not that. It's just there's always that that descaling that happens usually,
Correct.
and that they want to go
Lawyers
down.
confronting you
Yeah,
for no reason.
Yeah.
It's just like
I
independent.
mean, I have a lot of lawyer friends, but I prefer them on the bar and not in the real bar.